family. If you're in or near Columbia, South Carolina, you've got to visit the House of Hathor, located at 6319 North Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, it's your one-stop shop for African clothing, African masks, natural soaps, incense, candles, jewelry, and more. Plus, they've got a beautiful event space. Owned and operated by Baba Rutaski and Mama Neterma Canute. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the culture. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the movement. When you support the House of Hathor, you support the people.
Greetings, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to the House of Hathor's Libation, Liberation Lifestyle, that we come to you with the message from the ancestors that will continue to bring forth all that is required, all that is needed for us, in order for us to be the true temples, altars, and vessels of their great energy, spirit, and soul. We come to you with the message from the ancestors that is the foundation of life that exists within us as our values, our interests, and our principles, that we may govern ourselves accordingly as their temples, as their altar and vessel, to bring forth the information, the instructions for our knowledge and our wisdom, that it continues to manifest itself through the institution, the industry, and the environment of not only ourselves, but what is on the outside of our perception and of our reflection, that we may project our truth and justification of our truth through all that we commit ourselves to, through all that we admit and all that we submit ourselves to, through our spirit, our energy, and our soul that dwells within us. So let us bring the ancestors involved into this day as we celebrate the momentous victories that we have had all this week, that we continue to do the work that we are required to do as examples of our ancestors, as vessels, altars, and temples of our ancestors, as institutions, industries, and environment of our ancestors. We call upon our ancestors far and near, fathers and mothers of our fathers, mothers and fathers of our mothers, to bear witness to all that we have done. And it is by your example that you continue to inspire us towards reclaiming our ancestral minds, regenerating our ancestral spirit, liberating our families, our homes, and our communities, and restoring our greatness as a people. We pour libation to bring into our midst your venerable ancestral spirit, radiating your great wisdom, your courage, your dedication, and your unyielding commitment to victory by any means necessary. It is in the honor of our Creator, our great ancestor of all ancestors, our mothers and fathers, our sisters and our brothers, our children and their children, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, our aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, and elders of our community, that we pour this libation in your honor, in the honor of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors, and the various manifestations of the creative spirit. We pour libation. Ashe. For our esteemed ancestors, who laid the foundation for human civilization, and who provides the wisdom to which we live, and the models by which our lives are guided, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors, who suffered the atrocities and the horrors of our Ma'afa, but yet demonstrated the victorious power of the ancestral spirit by maintaining their dignity, no matter the cost, we pour libation. Ashe. And for our esteemed ancestors, who survived and made it possible for us to be here today, that we continue the fight of our ancestral liberation and our vindication, we pour libation. Ashe. And finally, for our children and their children and future generations of our ancestors to come, that they too in their time will vindicate our race from all adversaries, and that they will continue to imprint upon the world the great genes of our ancestral humanity. We pour libation. Ashe. May your venerable spirit engulf this occasion to reaffirm our ancestral canity. It is done. Our great ancestor of all ancestors is satisfied. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Dua Nater. So we say, Hotep, peace and power to you all this day, my brothers and sisters, as we continue to live, love, and learn our processes of life that governs our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And as we continue to commit, submit, and admit to our ancestors that we still need them, that we still thrive on their energy, their spirit, and their soul, and that we continue to manifest, to generate, to reflect, as well as project all that they have transcended, all that they have instilled, all that they have transferred into our beings, into our vessels, that the knowledge and the wisdom that has been placed upon the altar of our existence, that it continues to be used within the temple that possesses all that they have transcended to us. And we want to make sure that today we are celebrating everything that we have committed ourselves to throughout the week, everything that we have submitted ourselves to through the energy, the spirit, and the soul of their existence, that we celebrate all that we have admitted to our ancestors of what we know and what we don't know, and that we still need them to transcend to us the information and the instructions for us to live by, that it guides our thoughts, our words, and our actions, and that we will continue to do the work that we are required to do, that we're going to be responsible in how we commit ourselves and how we admit to ourselves and how we continue to bring forth their energy, their spirit, and their soul. Our ancestors, they are the foundation of life that exists within us. And we honor them, we venerate them, and we acknowledge their existence within us. For if it was not for them, none of us would be here. And that we are supposed to make life better, not only for ourselves, but for our families and our communities. We're supposed to be building the institution of spirituality that we have within ourselves. We're supposed to be building the information and instruction that we transcend to those who are around us and who are within us and who are without us. We're supposed to be creating and manifesting a better way of life that is an extension of the spirit, the energy, and the soul that dwells within us. That is what we're celebrating, because we know that a lot of us are doing the work and that we are interconnecting with our ancestors. We are connecting with those of like energy, like spirit, and like souls. That we continue to reflect as well as project in our lifestyle, that we are those that we have been waiting for to do the work. We don't have to wait for anybody else to come. We are the ones that were supposed to be building and manifesting, sustaining and maintaining, protecting and guiding. We are the ones. And those that come after us, we leave them a blueprint to what we did and how we did it, because we're going to teach them how we did it so that they can build it and they can sustain and maintain and make it better than what we have given to them, because that is what life does for us, and that is what we do for our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children, for our families, our homes, and our communities. That is the purpose for living. It is to manifest, it is to generate, it is to create, it is to build, it is to instruct, it is to inform. Those are the things that life and nature does for us every day. And it is our duty, it is our responsibility to do the same as life and nature has done for us, as the spirit, the energy, and the soul of our ancestors continue to do with us, for us, and through us. And so all we do is perpetuate the same thing that the energy, the spirit, and the soul do for us, as life and nature do for us. We do the same for those that are of our collectiveness, our cooperativeness. And I'm speaking about what is collective and cooperative, because that means that there has to be reciprocity. That means as others do for us, we do for them. As life and nature does for us, we do for it. As the energy, the spirit, and the soul does for us, we do the same for it. That means that we honor it, that means we venerate, and that means we acknowledge our ancestors first and foremost, and the great ancestor of all ancestors that has given us the breath of life. So we must honor it, and we must venerate, and we must acknowledge that existence that is within us, from our great ancestor of all ancestors, as well as from our ancestors that gave us life, that they used, that the Creator used as a vessel to bring us forward. So we honor that. We honor that knowledge. We honor that wisdom. We honor that information. We honor those instructions. And we build, we manifest, we generate, We reflect and project. We protect. We can never forget about protecting, because we must protect that which we have manifested. We must make sure that we ensure, as the ancestors ensure in us, that we can have prosperity, we can have happiness, we can have peace, we can have abundance as we continue to manifest and generate and create and build. This is what we're celebrating today. This is what we will continue to celebrate. Celebrate by yourselves every day, but we want to celebrate collectively and cooperatively. We want to unify our efforts in doing so that we can be a true version of the inversion of ourselves. Because the inversion of ourselves is what's intangible. It is what's infinite. It is what's internal. That is what's within us. And as the ancestors invest in us, we invest into ourselves and outside of ourselves, from our environment to the environment that's what's on the outside of ourselves. It is a process. That is the process of life that has been given to us. And all we have to do is sometimes just sit and listen to the spirit that is within us. Sometimes we have to sit and look at what's outside of us that is natural, that is nature, that is life. That is the only thing that we have that's on the outside of us that is a reflection of what's on the inside of us. Everything that man is building, unless it is of like spirit, like soul, and like energy, then it becomes a distraction. It becomes an attraction to take us away from what it is that we have within us. So let us celebrate this day. Let us honor our ancestors. Let us acknowledge our ancestors. Let us venerate our ancestors this day, so that we may be able to live in prosperity and abundance, with peace and protection, with guidance, with our knowledge and our wisdom that is within us. We leave you today with the cleansing prayer again, so that we may absolve, detach, and cleanse ourselves of everything that we have come in contact with that has caused us to think about ourselves in a different way instead of thinking ourselves in the truest way that comes from our energy, our spirit, and our soul. So we say peace and power to you all this day, and ashe to our ancestors.
O great ancestor of all ancestors, we call upon you this day that you will cleanse us of all negative energies that surrounds us, that you will break all work of negative magic that is against us, that you will take away from us all envy, evil, bad luck, and invincible enemies, and that you will bring protection, peace, and prosperity into our lives, into the lives of our children, our children's children, and our children's children's children, into the lives of our families, our homes, and our communities. We now lovingly and peacefully retrieve our energy from all that we have communicated with. We send them their energy back and any energy or energies attached to them. We now cleanse, clear, close, and lock all gates, portals, and access points in the spirit of our ancestors, and in the spirit and in the energy of our Creator, the great ancestor of all ancestors. Ashe, 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 Ashe.